Mission. I'm Norie Gonzalez Garza, and I am your mayor here at the City of Mission. And today it is absolutely my pleasure to have Libby Saenz, who is the CEO of the Food Bank of the Rio Grande Valley, here with us today. And today, well, first of all, I'd like to thank you and your team for doing an amazing job throughout our city and the whole region. So today we're going to talk about something that a lot of people don't like to talk about, and that's hunger and food insecurity is what the new term is, I guess. So can you tell us a little bit about yourself, how you got started with the food bank, and just let us know a little bit more about
Sure.
you.
I've been with the food bank. It's going to be 25 years in January. I grew up here in the valley in a little area called Monte Alto, which is just north of Elsa. And I grew up very poor. Single mother, 4 kids. Many times we didn't have food and school supplies, and my grandfather didn't have food to eat too, and so a lot of those things are things that have driven me to do what I do with the food bank, and at the food bank and the different programs that we have. So it's all ways of I always think back, like, if I wish I would have had this when I was a child, or I wish my grandfather would have had this. So a lot of those things that I went through or experienced is what gives me inspiration and ideas on how we can better serve our communities here in the Rio Grande Valley.
Okay, well, thank you so much. For someone that's not familiar with the food bank, what is your mission? What is who do you serve across the area? What is? Can you tell us a little more about that?
Our mission is basically to, feed people, help fight, food insecurity that we have here in the Rio Grande Valley, and to provide nutritious food for everybody. Everyone deserves to have a table full of food, refrigerator full of food. We service all 3 counties, which is Cameron, Willacy, and Hidalgo. We're serving right now about 96,000 individuals every single week.
Oh my goodness!
We distribute about 800 to 1 million pounds a week right here in the Rio Grande Valley.
Wow, that's amazing. That's a huge need, though.
It is a huge need. It is,
yes.
And for every one person we get out of the line, the goal is always trying to get people out of the line and just not giving them food, but giving them resources, other things that they need to help them get out of those circumstances. But we find for everyone we get out, we get 2 more in. But thank goodness, and thank God that we have a facility and we have the resources here to be able to help people, to get by.
Okay, very good. The word food insecurity is a semi new term, right?
Correct.
Can you tell us?
Sure.
Exactly?
There was before it used to be, people are going to bed hungry, and or they're, starving, and that's really more of a third world country type of thing. But what food insecurity means is that you might not have all the components to your meal, meaning that, you just might eat a taco of beans, and or you're going to put yourself aside and let your children eat majority of the food. So, mom might only eat, might just eat the tortilla. And that's food insecurity, meaning they're not eating all the nutritious parts of a food or of a meal.
Oh, okay. So basically, it's the lack of a total food.
Correct. And or they might not know where the next meal is coming from.
Right.
Meaning like they have enough, or maybe they have something, but it's not a complete meal, or they don't know, or they don't have the resources to just go out to the store, like me and you, we can just go out and buy some food. So that's really what food insecurity means.
So do you have more and more families reaching out to you? Is that basically what's happening? And do you think it's because of, or what do you think is causing that influx of people?
Well, as the economy continues to, skyrocket, we see that food has increased so much and the cost of living has increased. We find more and more people coming to our food pantries and coming to our resource centers. And a lot of people think, it's people that are homeless or that are not working, or, it's the poorest of our community. And that's not the case. We have working families. We have, working fathers and mothers and, seniors that have worked all their lives and now are going through some, tough times. What the dollar bought 2 years ago is not the same what the dollar is buying now.
You're right.
So it's, I want to take that misconception out, that it's not you're homeless, and it's not. It's everyday working, people that are trying to make ends meet,
Right.
that are, just need that little extra, just a little extra help just to get them by.
So we talked about resources. What other resources are available at the food bank?
Sure. So we have, we also help people with help people to apply for SNAP benefits. Okay, which is a really big economic relief for people. And a lot of people think that SNAP benefits. We try to also with SNAP benefit. One thing that I want our seniors to understand is that some people, they don't want to apply for it because it's maybe just a little bit of money. It's like $30 for a senior. Oh no, I don't. No me cuesta. It's not good. But I don't understand. I don't know if they understand that once you apply, you receive that benefit. Okay, you qualify for that benefit. You also get other benefits, meaning like low electricity, cell phone. There's other types of benefits that go along with that. So it's just not one piece of the
Yes.
food stamps or SNAP benefits.
Right. It's
There's
a whole
other
package.
It's a whole package.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
we encourage seniors to sign up for it. But we SNAP, we do TANF, CHIP, and women's health. So those are all the different things that we're helping people.
And are these resources available at all the satellites?
At all our resource centers, we recommend that they call in, and because we can also we meet people at a different location. We can meet them at a library. We can meet them in a resource center. We can meet them, at a building like this, and help them apply for those benefits.
Awesome.
We're mobile.
Okay, we are mobile. That's
Yeah.
great. That's great.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sometimes people are just a little bit of, maybe they're hesitant or they're unsure, they're not comfortable about reaching out. What would you say to someone that is in that position where they're just not comfortable reaching out?
Sure. I know it, and it's hard. In our culture, it's hard. We have so much pride, right? So so we always think, oh, someone else needs it. It's not for me. Someone else deserves that better, or I'm not there yet. But we have to understand that there comes a time that we all need help in one way or another. And in order to get yourself out of that situation, we encourage you to reach out to the food bank. Reach out to nonprofits that do offer services that can help you just get yourself ahead just a little bit, just to get yourself out of that slump. Yes. Don't put your pride aside for a little bit and help yourself. And help your family to get out of that. Whatever dip you're in right now, just it's. The food bank's very private. We're not a government entity. We are a nonprofit.
Okay.
We do not share information with anyone. Okay. We ask for minimal information from someone. Okay. That's not our job. Our job is not to, broadcast who came into our facility. That's very private. We want people to come in with their dignity and leave with their dignity.
Oh, that's
in
amazing.
all of our locations.
Thank you. So if someone lives outside of the city of Mission, but they come to the resource center here in the city of Mission, they would be attended to, right?
Of course, we don't turn anybody away.
Okay, that's great. That's great. That's great. As a mom and a grandma, I just can't imagine a child going to bed hungry.
Yes.
So, do you see that happening more often, or is that how do you take care of that situation?
Right. Well, we have several programs that target children. Okay. We have one is called the Kids Produce Market. Okay. And I know you probably have seen it here at your different events that, we bring it out.
Yes.
And it's a way of encouraging children to, eat different types of produce. A lot of times, and we think it's really cool for the kids to be able to select what they want. A lot of times, if a child is going with a parent to the store, a lot of times, the kids they're not able to select what they want. But the Kids Produce Market gives that child that option of what they would like to eat or try, or even have someone. Oh, my dad loves avocado, so I'm gonna take avocado home for them. So that's one way of us teaching our children, how to expand their minds on the different produce that is out there. We have also another program called Operation Kid Pack. where we actually deliver small bags of food that's easy to open for the child. And the child is able to take this bag home and they have something to eat over the weekend. The way that one, they identify a child is usually a teacher or a counselor or a principal identifies a child by them maybe hoarding food, or they're rushing the food lines, first thing Monday morning, or they are asking other children for their, whatever they didn't eat.
Yes.
So those are signs of hunger. Right. So whenever those children are identified, then they call the food bank, and we deliver backpack or bags of food for those children.
And those are delivered to their schools?
Those are delivered to their schools.
Oh, okay.
But then we found, it's a great program.
Yes.
But then we said, okay, well, shoot, this only targets the child. Okay, so what about if the child is coming hungry? Now we need the family. Okay, so then a lot of those, where we started those programs, have now been converted to school food pantries.
Okay.
So now the parent can come in and actually receive food for the whole family.
Okay.
Because but it starts, it's those little signs.
Right.
And we're hoping that if the child takes home the bag, then they can say, hey, where's my child's getting this food from? How else can I get some food assistance? So, it's we depend on those parents to, come in and ask for those assistance, or just simply call. They can call the food bank and we can help them with, answer any questions they would have.
Okay, very good. So, kind of in the same conversation here, but so say I'm a Mission resident and I'm struggling, my family's struggling, and I just don't know what to do. Walk me through the process. What should I do? Who should I speak to?
Sure.
What?
Yeah, it's very simple. All they have to do is just call 682-8101. Press option number 2, and you're gonna get someone's gonna answer the phone, and you can tell them, you can tell them your name, your address, and we're gonna find you the closest location for you.
Okay.
That's it.
Okay.
Very simple.
Okay. Very good.
Yeah.
Very good. Okay. So, how important, and I know they are partnerships with cities, local businesses, community organizations, that help to accomplish your goals. How important is that?
Sure. Well, like I said earlier, we serve 96,000 individuals. I have 85 people on staff. There's no way we can do all this work by ourselves. Yeah. We rely on cities, we rely on municipalities, we rely on volunteers to get this work done, because we can't do it ourselves.
Right.
We can't do it all by ourselves. We work very hard on writing the grants and the contracts with the government, for getting our food down here and transportation, and but if we do not have support from let's say like you, my mayor of Mission, we could not do what we're doing here in Mission. Okay, we could not do mass distributions, without the support of the PDs or fire departments or, city councilmen. It takes a village, right? It takes a village. So that's exactly,
How many volunteers do you think you'll have at any given time?
About 8,000.
8,000. Yeah. Oh my
Yes.
goodness. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
That is amazing.
Yeah.
Wow. That is amazing. Yeah. So, what are some creative ways that you can suggest to local businesses and just other volunteers to help support the food bank, other than just writing a check? What else could we do?
I mean, there's simple things. You can always do a food drive. You can, a restaurant. You can allocate. We've had some restaurants do some really cool things. Like if you order this meal. This is the food bank meal. You order this meal, and a portion of that meal the portion of the proceeds for that meal goes to the food bank.
Okay. Yeah.
You can do, like I said, food drive. You can do school tool. You can do a drive for school supplies. You can do. There's volunteer. You can have your, team come in and volunteer as well. You can do an incentive for every volunteer that comes in. So much money goes donated back to the food bank. There's so many ways that someone can participate and give back to the community.
So what you mentioned school supplies. Do you all distribute that as well?
Well, we have
Sometimes maybe.
we have a program called School Tools.
Okay.
And School Tools is a free store for teachers. Okay,
Oh
so
my goodness.
any teachers that are from pre-K 3 up to fifth grade, and if they're in a school that is at 80% economically disadvantaged, which is about just about every school in the valley, right? They can register with our School Tools program, and they're able to come in and shop, and get some school supplies they can take back to the classroom.
That's amazing.
Yes.
I did not know about
Yes.
that particular program. So
Yeah.
you know what? There's a lot of and there's been a lot of talk about, well, back to school, and there's been some in conversation with just colleagues that I wish we had time to put some school supplies together and getting them out to the students that are in need.
Right.
But school already started. Maybe
Right.
it's too late. But you
Right.
know what? We could probably donate to your
Yeah.
program,
Yeah,
and
that's
and
where
it'll be
all
there
the
the whole
teachers come in.
time.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great idea. So
Thank you.
if y'all missed first school supplies to hand out before school started, there's still an opportunity.
Yes.
Yeah, that's
we do
great.
that. We do that all throughout the whole
Throughout
school
the whole
year.
year.
Throughout the school
Okay.
year, yes.
Very good, very
Yeah.
good. Okay. So you've been doing this a long time.
Yes, ma'am.
Is there a story or a memorable event that you hold dear to your heart that you would want to share?
I think moving into our facility that we're at now, we moved in there in 2012. We were in another building down in Xenia, and our Xenia building was quaint, but it was very small. So moving into a facility that we have now was a blessing, because we needed the room. There's so many, we did. We just built a new facility in the back of our food bank now. It's a new cooler freezer. And because we needed more space, as Valley grows, more people come in, and we need more space too as well. So, that's another. Every time that we open up a new resource center, those are accomplishments. Those are things that just we're our drive is always to make an impact in every single area we can, and little by little we keep stretching stretching the services of the food bank to those areas that may not have enough resources, or we try to make it easier for people to be able to get the food that they need. So our resource centers are open usually Monday to Friday, 8 to 5 type of schedule, and even though we have a lot of food partners with us, which is great, but again, they run on volunteers, so that might not have the convenience to be able to open every single day. But
then you go to these events also.
Correct, and then we
on
do
weekends.
we do all these
kinds
events.
of
We do,
yes.
we again we just try to make sure we get that awareness out there,
Right.
let people know that
Yes.
that we're here and we're here to help.
So looking ahead into the future, what do you hope to see, or where do you want to get the food bank? What accomplishments do you have? What goals are you looking at?
Sure. Well, it's always our goal is always to grow, and expand into those areas into rural areas where we do not have services. My goal is to always make it to create a lasting impact for people that do not have the resources to get out. There's a lot of colonias and those rural areas that people don't have the, transportation or the ability to get to one of our resource centers or to one of our food pantries. So, I think expanding our mobile services, hopefully I hope to at one point get to a delivery type of a service.
Oh, that would be wonderful.
Where we can deliver to those
Yeah.
people that do not have,
Yes.
especially that are homebound or bedridden. Or,
Right. Right.
I'm hoping that I foresee that in the next maybe 2 to 3 years.
Okay.
We'll be able to do that. I would hope that we'd start some type of like a mail distribution, almost like an Amazon type of package.
Oh,
We
yeah.
can package, send packages out
Yes.
to people, to their homes. So, those are different ideas, innovative ideas to, or another one is where people can actually shop online, and
yes.
select the items they want, and then we fill that order for them. So,
Yes.
and those are
That's just
those
being more
ideas that are
efficient,
out there. That's
yeah.
even more efficient. And
Yes,
'cause I always
yeah.
feel that people need to be able to choose what they want, and it's not always, we can't always do it. A lot of times we have disasters and we have to do these mass distributions, but I think that, if we're, just because you do not have money to go to a grocery store doesn't mean that you shouldn't have the the privilege to choose the items that you want and the things that you want to eat. So, that's why we always try to do shopping, whenever you come to our resource centers and to a lot of our food pantries, people are able to select the items they want and what they need. Because I don't know what you have in your food pantry.
Right,
I don't know what,
right.
maybe you don't like,
Preferences.
maybe you don't like rice and, rice and beans and you want, green beans
Yes.
and corn,
Yes.
So,
Yes.
maybe you can't eat this because you can't eat rice because it's too much carbs.
Carbs, yep.
So,
I can't eat rice.
Yeah,
My
so,
sugar will go through the roof.
who am I
Yes.
to put that into your bag
Yeah.
and that's not something you're going to eat,
Yes,
right? We encourage, all of our food pantries to be more of what we call client choice and let our neighbor choice and let them, choose what is it they like to eat and what they want and based on their diets and what they have already in the food pantries.
Very good. So you mentioned disasters.
Yes.
How do you prepare for something like that? And what is that? All hands on deck.
It's all hands on deck. It's sometimes we have disasters we weren't expecting.
Right.
Those sudden rainstorms that just hit us.
Yes.
And it's like, okay, that's it. Let's go. But if we're given enough good warning, then we start preparing those bags and we make sure we have water on hand. Clorox buckets. We start making sure, especially when there's a hurricane, it gives a little bit more time to get ready. And usually during the season, we've already started making those bags and we got the water in place and then. But the minute that it always happens, the minute we decide to release the water, okay,
Yes.
something happens. Like, man, we just released all that, disaster water. But and we get our generators ready and we make sure that our trucks are filled with, with
Yes.
fuel and
Yes.
we have to tie things down and okay, there's a windstorm coming and get everything tied down and bring everything in but we try to always be ready, whenever there's something coming in, especially during hurricane season.
Right.
And sometimes when things we don't know, it just hits, all of a sudden just hits us, and it's all hands on deck. It's like, good thing my team is very efficient and they're very, they understand that the minute there's some type of storm coming in, they know that it's all hands on deck. So, yes.
If you could ask every resident in our area, in the 3-county area, to do one thing, what would that one thing be to help relieve the hunger situation? Just the one thing.
Donate.
If
we could get every single person, my co-CEO, Connie Choi, says if everyone would just donate $1 a month, that would help us alleviate a good amount of the hunger that we have right here in the Valley. Just $1.
Just $1
If everybody could just donate $1, that'd make a
Okay.
huge difference.
Okay, very good. Yeah, well, every dollar counts.
Every
right?
dollar counts. For every dollar, we're able to provide
Yes.
5 meals.
Yes.
So that makes a huge difference.
So speaking about funding, how do you get your funding?
Sure. So we get, we get some funding through USDA or Texas Department of Agriculture. We get a piece of admin from them for when we're doing our distributions. We write a lot of grants, and or I should say my director of grants and advocacy, Omar Rodriguez, which I know you know him. He does a lot of my grant writing, and we do fundraising, of course. We got
Yes.
Empty Bowls coming up.
Yes,
One of our
yes.
largest fundraisers. So that's another way people can support us. Buy a ticket, come to our event. Or they can even donate a silent auction item. I know we still need some of those. But where was I going with this?
Funding.
Funding.
That's what we're talking
Yeah,
about.
funding. We always need funding. Donors, we get a lot of, local donors as well that, donate to the food bank and foundations. And it's a never ending,
Yes.
but that's a good half of it, I'm going to say, is coming from Texas Department of Agriculture through USDA.
Okay.
And then the other 50% is through grants and other types of funding sources that we get. And, of course, donors, local, our own, when we do our newsletters and things like that. And we could not do it. We could not do it with every single dollar that's coming into the food bank.
Okay, very good. So you mentioned empty bowls. You want to
Yes.
talk about
Sure.
that? I've been to a few of them, and they're a lot of fun.
Yes.
and the
yes,
food's
yes.
great.
Thank you. So
Yes.
this year's Empty Bowls will be at the Bird Ogden Arena in Edinburgh. It's from 11 to 1:30, and it's going to be on September 29th, okay, which is the last Tuesday of the month. And basically, throughout the past few months, we've gone out to different entity or different, we have another one going out to the museum this week, where people are able to paint bowls, okay? So they pay $10, they're able to paint as many bowls as they want, And then those bowls are collected. Then we take them over to UTRGV where they fire them up for us. So when you come to the event of empty bowls, the first thing you're going to see is you're going to see tables full of these bowls.
Empty
Empty bowls that have been, painted from our own local people here, right? And each bowl represents the hunger that we have here in the valley, okay? So you're able to select your bowl, and then you can go through the arena and you get your food that you like. You sit down, relax, there's entertainment. There's a silent auction, going on at the same time. And then when you go home, we recommend that you put that empty bowl out. You have it on display as a decoration. We ask that you put it out, especially during those things like Thanksgiving, Christmas, when you have other people coming over, because they say, oh, that's a unique bowl, because it's a one of a kind.
It's a one of a kind.
It's a one of a kind. They can say, what is that bowl? Why do you have that? And then you can be the hunger advocate and talk about empty bowls. Then you talk about the hunger that we have in the Rio Grande Valley, and it just brings awareness. So it just doesn't stop with us. It continues with you and people that come into empty bowls.
Very good, very good. That's a I hadn't thought about that, but putting it out and getting people to ask questions, that's great, because that's how you get the word out.
Exactly.
Right? Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. Very good. Is there anything else that you want to mention before we close?
Just, again, if anyone needs food assistance, reach out to us. You like to donate, you can always go onto our website. If you'd like to receive our newsletter, register on our website as well. We'd be happy to send you our month, our newsletters. We send them out like every quarter. And of course, volunteers. We need volunteers at all times. And just not at our food bank. We have over 275 partner agencies throughout the Rio Grande Valley that could use your help, volunteering. We have them from Brownsville all the way down to, La Jolla, and we need help at all the sites. And, I know a lot of them would be honored to have you there to help them out.
Awesome. Okay, that's I'm not getting the newsletter. I'm going to do that today. I'm going to sign up to get my newsletter.
All right,
so
good.
Yes, and I'm going to encourage anybody that's watching this is to go into the website, get the newsletter, keep informed, volunteer, donate, and
spread the awareness.
And spread the awareness, because hunger is not. It's not an individual thing; it's a community thing, and we need to respond as a community to this situation. And sometimes we don't see it because it's not something that is it's not. You might see a senior citizen that's on a fixed income that doesn't have that, and they've been getting the same check for years and years and years, but rent's gone up, taxes have gone up. Food's gone up, and they can't make it with what they used to.
Right.
So the food bank comes in and fills that gap and that void, and we're so thankful to you and your group, your staff. And it's an amazing cause.
Thank you.
And I just really want to, I can't emphasize enough how important it is to volunteer and to donate. So thank you, Libby, so much for being here.
Our website, just want to put it out there, Food Bank, very simple, foodbankrgv.com.
There you go. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Have a great day.
You too.
Thanks.